6 games left, and the LA Kings are battling for a playoff spot. As Daryl Sutter said, quote, you have to win games. You have to win out. You don't lose in, you win in. Downtown Los Angeles, Kings hockey is on the air. Fox Sports West presents the Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. That's right, 6 games remaining. Hey, Kings fans, I'm Patrick O'Neill. As I sit here today, the Kings are out of the playoffs. We're about to find out what's inside right here. How much do they want it? I certainly wouldn't question the Stanley Cup champions. There's some big games going on around the NHL right now that will have a direct impact on the Los Angeles Kings. And look at this. The Blues, late third, lead the Calgary Flames 3-1. 3 minutes remaining. The Rangers up on the Wild 3-2. And in the third period, Canucks and the Blackhawks tied up at 1. Will the Kings finally get a little help from the scoreboard? Looking good right there. As you see the Western Conference standings, the Kings trailing Winnipeg by 2 points. If they win one more game than Winnipeg the rest of the way, they will overtake the Jets. If they win out, they will overtake the Calgary Flames for third in the Pacific Division. But most important, this game against the Oilers here tonight. Let's go inside to get you ready for the matchup. Here's Bob Miller and Jim Fox.
All right, Patrick, thank you very much. First things first, but yes, win 6 and the Kings are in. Jim, the Kings are looking for more balance now. Get the defense and the offense together in the same game.
And Bob, in all honesty, it's something we've talked about too much this year. You don't want to talk about those things, but the Kings' 7th best goals against, so they're doing a good job there. They've just got to find a way, especially at the end of the last road trip, to get more offense going. But another thing that's not a secret, the styles of the Oilers, the styles of the Kings. The Oilers are fast, the Kings are big, the Kings have to be physical, take the body. That'll go a long way to getting 2 points.
Kings are going to be without defenseman Andre Sekera tonight. He's out with that lower body injury. And also Mike Richards, a coach's decision, scratched for the first time in his career. But 2 players come back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, you have a veteran and a younger player coming back in the lineup. Guts and Glory right now brought to you by Ram Trucks. Will show us the guys coming in. Of course, Jared Stoll missed 9 games, concussion. Veteran player who's trusted in his role. He brings intensity, reliability. Has not been productive offensively, so don't expect a lot of offense. At the same time, it's more about just getting the group back together. The younger player, of course, is Braden McNabb back on the blue line. He's come a long way this year. Daryl Sutter feels that he probably would not have played as many games as he has. You know, when you talk about the circumstances, normal circumstances regarding available personnel back on the blue line. He's a hard-hitting style, stands up at the blue line, but more important right now with Braden McNabb, because of what we were just talking about, he's shown the ability to hold on to the puck, get the puck, move the puck around, and create some offense. That's what the Kings need.
Well, Edmonton has had a tough year. They're going to miss the playoffs for the 9th consecutive year, but they've been playing better lately. They've won 3 of their last 4, although they lost last night in Anaheim. But they have 3 players that lead them in scoring under 24 years of age.
And these are go-to guys. Eberle, nifty, sneaky at times, wonderful backhand so he can attack from both sides and be dangerous. Nugent Hopkins, thinking man centerman, trying to get a little bit stronger so he can play more of a power game. Taylor Hall, dynamic, beat you one-on-one type of player. A little bit of different role right now. He's kind of moved on to the third line, so the Edmonton Oilers have all that skill, trying to balance it out. That line, though, providing a lot of offense.
Well, the Kings have won 5 straight at home over the Edmonton Oilers. Can they move closer to a playoff spot tonight? Kings and the Edmonton Oilers are next.
Get ready to play for the Kings and the Oilers they just mentioned. The Flames have lost, so the Kings looking to keep going up in the Western Conference. Scrivens played last night, did not go well. Didn't get a lot of help, believe me there, last night against Anaheim. Jonathan Quick, we saw earlier in the pregame show his record against the Edmonton Oilers this season, 33 wins for Mr. Quick. The officials for tonight's game. That man right there is Tom Cowell. He'll be joined by Frederic Lécuyer. They are the referees on the lines. Veteran Shane Heyer, kind of a new guy, Kyle Murchison. So the Kings want to take the body, the Oilers want to skate around. The Oilers coming off a loss last night. It's a back-to-back situation. Those situations did not go well for the Kings at the end of the last road trip. But coming up right now with the play-by-play, Hall of Famer Bob Miller.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And this game is underway. Yes, you're right. This is the third straight time the Kings have played a team that played the night before. And the previous two against Minnesota and Chicago did not turn out well for the Kings. Let's see what happens tonight. Across the line, here's Doughty. Doughty throws it down into the corner. Oilers zone. He gets checked there. Kings Williams back in to get it. Shovels it off on the right side. Now the blue line. Taken by the Kings Muzzin. The Doughty shoots. Save and a rebound taken by Kopitar. Kopitar, the Kings leading scorer, down into Gabrick. Gabrick tried to go back behind the net to Williams. Williams has it in the right wing corner. Back to the blue line. Held in there by Doughty. Over to Muzzin. Now up the middle. Kings still with it. Kopitar with a shot. Deflects over to Doughty. Doughty gives it back up the middle. Williams shoots and a save by Scrivens.
Everyone involved. You can't really have a better first shift as far as getting everyone involved in the play. Every single player touched the puck on that first shift. They had to moving around. The bottom line at the end, though, you'll see the Oilers do a good job making sure the Kings cannot get someone in front. So that shot, it's a point-blank shot, but no one in front, so no screen. And Ben Scrivens read the play perfectly down to his knees, but big upper body to make the save.
Kings now with Carter's line out. The puck comes back to the right point, thrown down into the corner. Now behind the net, here's King. Dwight King gets it back to the blue line. Regehr gives it back to King. He shoots. It's blocked. Rebound. Another shot by King and a save by Scrivens.
Scrivens had lost his stick on that one. So two shots, point blank, a little bit high up into the body. And Scrivens doing the job. Hyundai keys to the game. Physical start. The Kings are more physical than the Oilers, so get it done and get it done early. Maybe just kind of put the doubt in the mind of the Oilers. Special teams, you don't see a lot of opportunities this time of year, but at the same time, they're that much more important. That's what Drew Doughty told me yesterday at practice. Possession versus rush. The Oilers, known as a rush team, the Kings like to hold on to the puck.
Oilers get it out to center ice, thrown down in by Taylor Hall. Hall recently had an injury. He's come back into the lineup a few games ago. Now up the middle, a shot saved by Quick on the shot from right in the slot, and the puck cleared back out to center ice. Now the Kings with it. Here's Carter, shoots and a save and a rebound right there, but out of the reach of Toffoli. Tipped away from him. Back to the blue line. Shot by McNabb is wide. Deflected wide and taken now by Toffoli. Toffoli on the right side gets knocked down. Pass up the middle. Stoll on the ice now for the Kings. He missed 9 games with that concussion. Gets it back to the King zone and taken there by Green. Over to McNabb. Up ahead to center. Across the line. Kings with it. Driven down in deep by Lewis. Lewis went for it. Didn't get it. Kings have it though in the Oilers zone. Along the left wing boards. Battled for there. Lewis trying to get a stick on it. Puck is taken away though by the Edmonton Oilers. And it is set back behind the net. Now the Oilers, Derek Roy trying to get a stick on it. He couldn't. It came along the boards on the right side, and the Kings hold it in. Back to the blue line. A shot wide to the left side by Green. Now along the boards, the Oilers still unable to clear. Kings have it. Here's a shot. Score! Dustin Brown! Beautiful shot by Brown, and the Kings lead 1-0.
I was mentioning the Kings getting involved in the game. Each line went out there and did their thing. The top two offensive lines did it. Then the physicality. You had Lewis, you had Stoll taking the body. Loose puck here now. You'll see the position of the goaltender, Scrivens. He's a little deep, and that goes 7-hole. It goes underneath the arm. And from where that shot comes from, you have to consider that a bad goal. The Kings will take it. But as a goaltender, when the shot comes from outside the circles and down that low, nice touch pass there. Didn't see that the first time from Trevor Lewis. Just to allow Brown to keep his momentum going. So the Kings get the first line out there with Kopitar. Good job on the forecheck. Second line with Carter. Good job with the speed. Third line with Stoll at center, and the physicality took over. Kings lead 1-0.
Brown with his first in 20 games. His last goal was February 18th against Colorado, and he gives the Kings a 1-0 lead with his 11th goal of the year. Puck flipped high in the air and gloved there by Scrivens, and he hangs onto it. So that had to feel good for Dustin Brown to get that shot. Beautiful shot, too.
It is, Bob. You'll see that the forecheck by the Kings, and you'll see that the Oilers don't necessarily get caught out of position. One thing down low that's very important. You got to stop here, guys. You have an Oiler right here. He's kind of leaving the zone, and he's leaving the zone without the puck. When that happens, you get in trouble. He's above the puck, not below the puck. Brown has it right there. Interesting yesterday, Bob, after practice. I'll get that in a minute with Dustin Brown working on some new equipment yesterday at practice. Work here, first shift.
Well, the assist goes to Lewis at 2:23 of the first period, and the Kings with a 1-0 lead. Long shot knocked down by Quick, and now a loose puck. Oilers with it. Tipped down into the right wing corner and a battle for it there, and the Oilers come out with it again. Drop it down the right side and now move it along the boards and down deep into the corner again, taken by Luke Gazdic. Gazdic, he gets checked there. Puck still in possession of the Oilers all the way back, top of the slot. A shot is knocked down in front, and the rebound got away, and out to center ice. Nolan going for it there. The rebound got away from Marincin right in the slot, but the Kings get it back. Here into the Oilers zone is Kyle Clifford. Clifford double teamed along the boards. He gets help from Williams. Kings are in the midst of a change. Referee fell down at center ice. Puck comes back across the line into the Kings zone. Into the right wing corner, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Hopkins put it down the corner. Kings take it away. They get it to Williams. Williams along the right wing boards. Williams still with it. Finds some room and gets it over now as the Kings move it back into their own zone. And now Kopitar gets it up to Williams, and Williams at center. Over to Gaborik, but offside called against the Kings.
Nice regroup there for the Kings to hold on possession of the puck. Kings practiced yesterday. Practice was over. Then I see Dustin Brown putting on his skates on, his gloves, and he really just has his kind of long johns on, and his sticks arrived, new sticks, and he said it had a new kick point. A kick point that's lower on the shaft of the stick, so he just wanted to go for a little twirl, get used to the sticks. Well, it looks like the sticks are working. He had the wrist shot there, and he really snapped it at the net.
Well, he got used to it and gave the Kings a 1-0 lead. Kings have it back in their own zone now as the Oilers come into forecheck. Here's Muzzin along the boards, and still a battle there in the Kings zone. It comes up in the air. Oilers tried to get it to Hall, couldn't do it. Taken away by Kopitar, and now moved up to center. Tipped off the stick of Kopitar. Kings go for it. Taken away by the Oilers. Back across the line, but back comes Kopitar to break it up. They were trying to get it over to Andrew Miller. Now in front, a save by Quick. Rebound. Shot deflected up high and out of play. A great chance for the Oilers and a chance on the rebound.
Yeah, there was a breakdown there for the Kings. Of course, the Kings looked like they were going to gain possession of the puck, and turnovers will kill you. And there it is right there. Hall strips, and then right in front, Lander has his chance. Lander just signed a 2-year contract extension, so he's a happy camper, not happy right there. And you see Quick just played the odds on that one. Not a lot of movement down low to make the save.
Oilers win the draw, and a shot from the left point is high and wide, and Karams out to the right point where the Oilers hold it in. They get it down into the corner, but it's taken away by the Kings. Picked up by Carter. Carter played it off the boards to himself and now moves it up ahead to center ice. Kings with a 1-0 lead in the first period. Pass deflected off the skate. The Oilers turn it back the other way. They try to get it off on the right side, and Teddy Purcell back into the Kings zone, or into the Oilers zone, excuse me, to play it there. And now the Oilers get it up ahead to center ice. Pass over to Nail Yakupov on the right wing. Put it down the corner, taken away by Green. Green gets checked there, and stepping in was Derek Roy. Now the puck cleared back out to center, and Yakupov back to get it.
Yeah, that first man for the Oilers has given the Kings a little bit of trouble. Again, on that last chance, it was Taylor Hall with a strip of the puck. Good use of the stick from a low position to a high position, so he doesn't take a hooking call.
Oilers get it over to Justin Schultz at their own blue line. He sends it deep into the Kings zone, and Quick cuts it off behind the net. Taken there by Martinez. Martinez gets it back again in the Kings zone. 1-0 in favor of the Kings here in the first period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox. Puck comes across the line, down and deep. Justin Schultz back into game for the Oilers. Schultz gets spun around. The Kings keep it alive at the blue line. Shot by Regehr, and a save and a rebound. Oilers jump on this one. Oilers get it back to the blue line and out to center. Good check over there in front of the Oiler bench by Dustin Brown, and an icing call against the Oilers.
Well, forced the Oilers into those icing situations. Of course, Jared Stoll is back in the lineup. I'm talking with Jared yesterday at practice. He was talking about concussions. Unfortunately, he's been through it before, but he said it kind of also helped him this time because he knew what to look for. He knew the stages that he had to go through. He said, you know, the symptoms, he says there are about 5 or 6 symptoms that all players get, but each player kind of handles it differently. But in a weird sense, it was kind of a positive to have experience in that situation.
Nick Shore won the draw. Here is Muzzin. He shoots it, deflected off a skate wide to the right side, and Clifford just couldn't get his stick on it. Clifford goes into the corner, but Justin Schultz breaks it up for the Oilers, and it is not cleared out yet. Jordan Nolan trying to get to it. He did. He got it to Muzzin. Muzzin fakes a shot. Up the middle. Shot by Clifford. Blocked. Picked up by Muzzin again. Holds it along the boards as he sent it toward the corner to Nolan, and now it's taken away and cleared back into the Kings zone.
Good decision there by Muzzin. Because of the turnover, he had a lot of time, but he had no one in front of the net. Wait for that traffic, try to make it happen.
Now Muzzin drives it deep into the Oilers zone. Oilers back in to get it. They are 27th on the road this year. They've won 9, lost 20, and had 10 into the overtime or shootout losses. Puck was sent to the blue line of the Kings, taken away there. Oilers in the Kings zone. Poke checked away as the Oilers tried to come down the right side. It was poked away from Eberle. Now back up to center, and the Kings control it again.
That's a good sign. Braden McNabb, Bob, had that poke check against Eberle. Eberle can be very tricky.
Here now is Kopitar. Oilers zone. Kopitar to Gaborik. He shoots. He scores! Marian Gaborik with his 24th of the year gives the Kings a 2-0 lead.
The depth of attack is important here. It's a 3-on-3, I couldn't call it initially. There's McNabb. He stripped the puck, starts the breakout, but the Kings get going. Williams is going to go through the middle. He knows his job. He knows his role. I know last night after the game in Anaheim, head coach Todd Nelson called the Oilers a little bit lazy. Sticks were not in the right position. It goes 7-hole once again. So there's a theme here for the first 2 goals under the arm of Ben Scrivens. But look at how much time. I mean, that one is not well defended. The first one, bad angle. That one right down the middle. The movement's there, the drive to the net's there. Kings lead 2-0.
Oilers now with the puck come across the line into the Kings zone. Puck thrown down in by Andrew Miller. He's out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And the puck is held in by the Oilers, but a pass is wide and played by the Kings up on the left side to Dwight King. He got it out to center. Now it's flipped back down to the Kings zone, and Martinez back to get it. Over to Robin Regehr. Regehr feeds it up to King on the left wing. King sends it deep into the corner of the Oilers zone. Oscar Klefbom back to get it for the Oilers. He moved it up the left side, and it's cleared out to center ice. Taken again by Andrew Miller. Went to Yale University. Miller pulls up in the corner, centers it. Broken up and cleared back out to center by Carter. Gaborik gets his 24th. The assists go to Kopitar and Williams. So Gaborik with 7 goals in the last 14 games. Tyler goes in front. Stoll with a shot, and it's deflected up and out of play. Great chance right down the middle for Jared Stoll. The Kings with a 2-0 lead. There's Gaborik with his 24th goal. Oh, that's Brown. Then Gaborik with his 24th of the year.
That's the start the Kings needed. Hey, I'm Patrick O'Neill. Time for the Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Kings have been great here at Staples all year. In fact, if you look at the best ever home record, go back to 90-91, and this team could be very close to that record if they win out. But if you look at the previous 7 games before tonight, only 7 goals, 2 of those even strength. But Jim Fox, they got 2 already tonight, so that's the start they needed.
Yeah, the first one on the forecheck. The second one, in all honesty, was just a bad sort out by the Edmonton Oilers. They had numbers back, but the back checking forward did not sort it out. No communication with the defenseman. Wide open Gaborik right down the slot.
Now the Kings again up to their own blue line and now to center ice. Pass off on the left side, sent back in front wide by Brown. Lewis going for it, taken away by Brown, right side. Here's Brown in the circle, shoots, it's deflected wide to the left. Kings try to hold it in, and the Oilers get it back out to center ice. Taken by Edmonton, thrown ahead by Derek Roy into the Kings zone, and Matt Green back to play it. Kings in their own zone. McNabb gets it back to Green. In the first period this year as far as goals, here come the Kings again in deep, and Brown peels off on the left side up the middle and taken there by Muzzin. Muzzin sends it down in the corner. Boy, Jim, the Kings finding a lot of room out there.
A lot of room.
Coming into that Oilers zone. Shot, score from the right side, Doughty. And the Kings have a 3-0 lead.
Todd Nelson has a player on the bench that has never played in the NHL, Tyler Bunz. He's a young goaltender. I'm just telling you, there's Tyler right now. Of course, Richard Bachman had to return home, unfortunately, due to death in the family. But here, yeah, Ben Scrivens looking from behind the net, resets himself. Is there going to be a screen here? It really doesn't look like it. I mean, there's no one directly in front of Scrivens. We'll see it from behind Drew Doughty as he just kind of throws it there. And maybe a deflection off of someone, maybe off a defenseman. Looked like a weird entry into the net. Who cares? Kings lead 3-0.
Well, the Oilers have had a dismal first period this year. Right now, their opponents have scored 78 goals. They've scored 56 in period number 1. Puck is brought up to center ice by the Oilers. 3-0 for the Kings. Checked by Muzzin at the blue line of the Kings. He hit Pouliot, and the puck taken by the Kings. Back across the line, but a loose puck going to be taken by the Edmonton Oilers. Up ahead to center ice. Chopped away there, and the Kings back in their own zone. They've got control of it. Sent off the boards and out to center ice with 10 minutes left to go in the first period. Up to center ice, and it's flipped up out of play, maybe off the stick there of Nolan. So the Kings with goals by Brown, Gaborik, and Doughty, and they lead 3-0.
Took advantage of a change. It was almost a full-scale change when Drew Doughty scores his goal, but the forecheck is pretty good too. That automatic play, which you try to do sometimes, 3 men are below the goal line, but there's Anze Kopitar. He is the man setting up behind. You get him the puck, he's going to have time because he can use the net. Watch this. Justin Williams turns around to face the shooter. That's what you want to do. Defenseman comes across to take him. Now, there's no screen. You can see the path for Scrivens to see the puck. He can see it all the way. Again, maybe deflecting off of someone on the side, those types of things. It seems like everything is beating Ben right now to the blocker side. 3 goals to that side. And that's the theme because the Kings have a 3-0 lead.
So Doughty getting the goal, his 6th of the year. And the Kings with it again. Oilers zone to the blue line. Left point. Here is Regehr. He shoots it wide. Rebound off the boards. The assist on Doughty's goal go to Kopitar and Muzzin at 9:13. So the Kings now from the blue line, a drive that's up high and deflected up the middle. The Kings have 3 goals on 3 consecutive shots in 6 minutes and 50 seconds here in the first period. For Doughty, that's his first in 25 games going back to February 7th. And the Kings enjoying a 3-goal lead. That's knocked away by Scrivens. Puck taken out to center ice, and the Kings have it again, and McNabb drives it right back in. Taken down the corner by the Edmonton Oilers and moved by Keith Hawley up the left side, and now batted away. Kings go for it again. Here's a pass over to Dwight King on the right wing. Oilers zone. King feeding it down the middle to Carter. Tipped away and then sent right back in front. Picked up by Toffoli to the blue line to McNabb. McNabb pass deflects to the Oilers, and they're going to have a chance to clear it up to center, and Teddy Purcell does. Now into the Kings zone. Chance for the Oilers down in deep. Taken back behind the net, Derek Roy. Roy hangs on to it, comes in front, shoots, knocked down, and then covered by Quick.
Well, Jonathan Quick, Bob, he had to scramble, and he got himself into an awkward position on the ice because Roy just kind of took it past the net. And then Quick was out of the net. You'll see how much room in behind the goaltender. Watch Quick, and he kind of stumbles there. That's the awkward position. Gets back once, and then Roy says, okay, I've got him in a vulnerable position right here, and he just tries to kind of sneak it home. You know, and Jonathan was expecting the shot. I think everyone was expecting the shot, including Roy, but he couldn't get a handle on it, so that's why he had to go completely past the net, try to go in behind.
Trying to clear it out of their own zone, and they have a chance here as they get it up ahead to center ice. Now back in to get it is Stoll. Brown assisted. Now they're going to give an assist to Stoll. Here's Brown again. Brown at the blue line, still has it. Brown got it over to Lewis, but it's taken away by the Oilers. Back they come to center ice and driven down in deep right at Quick, and he stops that one and he hangs on. Driven in by Fraser.
Time now for tonight's Mercedes-Benz Star Watch, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California. Nail Yakupov, who had a tough start to the season. You see the numbers there. He's picked it up, so he's showing signs. Former first pick. Braden McNabb, first full NHL season. As I mentioned in the open, probably seeing more games played this year because of personnel issues back on the blue line, but that mobility issue, move the puck around, the Kings need exactly that. We talked about it, Bob, in the open. Kings need some offense. They're getting it here.
They sure are here in the first period. Stoll gets an assist on the first King goal, so he comes back after missing 9 games and assists on the first goal, the one by Brown.
I also mentioned with Stoll, Bob, he has not been producing offensively, so don't expect that. So that's kind of a bonus situation. What you do expect is the reliable play down the middle, that energy and veteran leadership.
And in faceoffs, 51.6% of faceoffs he gets. There's a shot made. Nice save there by Quick on a shot from the right side by Nugent Hopkins. Kings come back across the line. Here's Williams down in deep. Williams going in deep, and it is up the middle to Kopitar and knocked away by Scriven. Back to the blue line. Muzzin to Doughty. Doughty fakes a shot, had it taken away, but the Oiler who blocked it was Hall, and he didn't have a stick.
You understand the move Doughty was trying there. It's one of those fancy moves, pull and drag, fake shot. But when the other player doesn't have a stick, that's a green light to try that type of move.
Now Hall does have a stick, and he checks Carter in the Kings zone, but the Kings have possession of the puck. Up ahead to Carter at center. Tried to feed it ahead across the line. Kings would have been offside. They touch up and play continues. Kings have 8 shots and 3 goals. Oilers have 6 shots. They haven't scored yet. Puck comes all the way back in the Oilers zone, and an icing call against the Kings.
A reminder to Kings fans out there, you can own a piece of history. The Emmy Award-winning series Championship Moments is back with never-before-seen bonus footage. It's now available on DVD and Blu-ray, so you can check it out. Get information at lakings.com/moments.
Boy, Emmy Award-winning Kings Vision. What a job they did on those. We've seen some of them, and you fans will really enjoy those. What a keepsake from the Stanley Cup Championship. Puck comes up to center ice and knocked down there. And we'll have a face-off coming up. 6:27 to go in the first.
I guess the Bob the Emmy is for adapted screenplay, since they had a story to work from. 2 Stanley Cups in the last 3 years. You get that story. They tell it so well, though, and they go deep into it. Daryl Sutter, of course, behind the bench. Scoreboard watching, he says, yes, I do, because I'm a fan of the game. But he also talked about the home record for the Los Angeles Kings and getting the job done here at home, and still a long way to go in this game, but so far the Kings doing exactly what he said they would do, come out here at home and be a strong team.
Kings with the 8th best record in the NHL at home, and they've got a 3-0 lead here tonight in the first period. Here's Kyle Clifford.
Roy without a stick, Bob, so he lost it. Right there, bounce outside, so he gets a chance to go, so that's the second shift in a row. An Oiler player lost the stick.
Here now up to center ice to Clifford. Clifford tried to give it over to King, and it's broken up. Taken there by the Oilers. Schultz across the line. A shot dribbles right toward the net and is scooped up by Quick. So he hangs on to this one with 5:52 to go in the first period.
Well, if you're scoreboard watching, you can take a look at these standings, because the Kings outside looking in right now. They would tie the Winnipeg Jets in points. Calgary in the Pacific has lost. Vancouver in the Pacific is losing. I know that's quite a ways to look to the Vancouver, so it's now final. It just went final in Chicago. Vancouver losing 3-1. So you always look to hope, and very rarely do things come together. But they're coming together tonight. Now it's up to the Kings to finish this one off.
And they've had a great start with a 3-0 lead here in the first period. The Kings win the draw. They've been outstanding on the faceoffs. That was their 12th faceoff won. They've lost only 4. Puck is cleared along the boards, and a hard check thrown down in the corner knocked Doughty back. And the puck is picked up by Muzzin.
Drew is not reacting to the situation, so that tells me he feels the hit was completely clean. It was Pouliot with a big hit.
Now right side, Nugent Hopkins shoots, and a save by Quick. Looked like it was going to be blocked, and then it went right toward Quick, and he stopped it there and hangs on.
Now, Pouliot was the back checker on that goal of the breakdown of coverage, the second goal for the Kings. And this time here, he's just coming in, and he sees he has Doughty in a position where Doughty cannot get out of the way. And right there, Drew has to take a hit to make a play. He tries to dodge it at the last second. Credit Pouliot right there with finishing the check. And he went in hard, he went in clean though. He went shoulder first. No elbow, no stick, nothing else. But Drew makes the play by taking the hit.
I'm sure you fans have heard by now, Dustin Byfuglien of Winnipeg, a 4-game suspension. They only have 5 games remaining in the regular season after that cross-check on JT Miller of the Rangers. Puck comes out to the right point in the Oilers zone. A shot from there, and Scrivens reaches out and grabs that one, and he hangs on. The shot by Martinez.
Got some information from Larry Isaac. Bob, he produces a lot of Canadian team telecasts, and sent out a stat that 18 games over the last 3 years that Dustin Byfuglien has not been in the lineup. The Jets actually have a better record in those games he was not in than when he was out. So it's one of those weird things. He is the best player on the Winnipeg Jets as far as a defenseman, does so many different things, but sometimes the numbers, they just don't seem to work.
He never wants to go to arbitration. Now a shot from the left circle, knocked down there by Klefbom, and puck is brought up to center ice by the Oilers. Back across the line, they move it back into the King zone, and a pass back on the right side can be played there by Taylor Hall. And now to the blue line, a shot by Nikitin, and a stop made, and the puck is tipped out to center ice by Gaborik. Back into the Oilers zone. Gaborik picks it up now at center ice. He gives it to Williams. Williams down the middle. Williams veers to the right, shoots, and then it was right in front and trying to get it over to Kopitar.
Kopitar was just hanging around Taylor Hall with a back check, making sure he stays at home. Otherwise, Kopitar might have had a tap-in. But the Kings continue to back off the Oilers.
Pass to the left side and offside called against the Oilers. They intercepted, but offside on the play.
Well, Edmonton, Bob, of course, coming in. Again, back to the game last night, Todd Nelson, their head coach, was talking about it. Said they were lazy. He said, stick position, those types of things. He said with the puck they were okay. Without the puck, they were not doing the job. They were not sorting things out. We saw that, especially on the second goal. So those are things you can go back to the drawing board and work on because they have to deal with positioning and communication, those types of things. But after a while, offside here against the Oilers, after a while, you've got to settle those things down. And if those types of plays continue to happen as a coach, you lose your ammunition. You have nothing else to do.
I didn't think they were lazy in the first 4 minutes. They came out charging in Anaheim, had first 4 shots on goal, and then the first shot by Anaheim goes in, and that was it for the rest of the night. 5-1 win for the Anaheim Ducks as they clinch first in the Pacific Division. Puck back in deep into the Oilers zone, and now moved up to center ice, picked up there, and here's Nail Yakupov. Yakupov to the blue line. He gets checked there by McNabb. Puck is held in, a shot deflected into the corner. Purcell tried to get to it. Kings tip it around him, and King gets it out to center ice. Chased down by Toffoli. Now to King. King moving in. King in deep. His centering pass out of the reach of Toffoli, and also coming in was Carter, but neither one of them could get a stick on it. Might have had an open corner of the net. Here's Toffoli. He shoots, and wide off the boards, picked up by Stoll. Stoll down in deep now to King. King turns around, doesn't get a shot, passes off on the right side, picked up by Doughty into the corner. Doughty over to Muzzin, and a save by Scrivens.
The best save by Scrivens right there. Doughty was jumping, he's weaving, he's making the play happen. Muzzin had the one-timer cross body, very quickly put back on that. Scrivens knew what was coming from, slides across to make the save. And right now, of course, you might be talking about nails in the coffin if that would have made it 4-0.
Oilers in deep, and a penalty, the first one of the game coming up here, tripping against the Kings.
Yeah, Regueira's going to go off, Bob, and in fairness to Robin here, he just it's a bouncing puck. I think if the puck is okay and sliding across the ice normally, I don't think Robin gets himself into the circumstance. So it's coming across, and he didn't handle it, and then he has to go for it. And you see Fraser go down as the puck's into his skates. So the bouncing puck works against the Kings right there. Now, this is one of the things Drew Doughty talked to me at practice yesterday about. And again, you don't get a lot of power plays or a lot of penalty kills at this point in the season. But he said the top dogs have to start doing a better job, and especially in these situations, last 2 games, power play goals against have hurt the Kings.
Kings have killed 50 of the last 56, but now the Oilers with a chance on the power play. They're 20th in the league with a man advantage. Here's a shot and a save by Quick on that shot, and puck comes all the way back out to center. Nice save by Quick. Puck taken by the Oilers. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins back in his own zone. 2:25 to go in the first period. Kings with a 3-0 lead. Oilers would have been offside. They had to peel back, and it's taken by Jordan Eberle. Eberle got it over on the left side to Anton Lander, 4th year out of Sweden. Now Lander's pass over left side, and it is taken away. Nikitin couldn't get to it. Here's Kopitar. Kopitar looking for a shorthander. A shot tipped wide, and a penalty coming up for hooking against the Oilers. Up the middle, McNabb shoots, and it's wide. Tipped wide and back into the corner. And now in front and covered by Scrivens. So the Kings, who have 7 shorthanded goals on the year, had couple of opportunities for another one.
Purcell doesn't like it, but it's an obvious call. Kopitar just takes over. He becomes a freight train on this play. Steals the puck. Look at this. Slides between two guys and right there on the other side. There's the hook right into the elbow, into the hands, and he actually gets a good shot off. You'll see it better here. Great look, guys. Good search for this one. Hands, no question whatsoever. No question that's a hook. If you get it into the legs, maybe you get away with it. Lander will go off. So 4-on-4 here for 1 minute and 5 seconds. And then the Kings would have a power play.
Now the blue line held in by Muzzin, down into the corner. Kings have it down in deep. Here's Carter, leading goal scorer for the Kings. Carter along the boards all the way to the point. Hangs onto it. He gets hit, and Hall ran into his own teammate. And the puck back to the blue line. Here's Doughty shooting just wide. Rebound over to Muzzin. Muzzin along the boards, back to the blue line. Kings in the Oilers zone. Crisscross with Doughty. Doughty gives it now to Muzzin. Muzzin's pass down the left side. Back, trying to get it back over to Doughty. It comes all the way back into the Kings zone. In 24 seconds, Robin Regehr will be out of the penalty box for the Kings, and they'll have a short power play. Now to center ice. Kings with it again. Into the Oilers zone. Down the right side, into the corner is Lewis. He gives it to Stoll. Stoll to McNabb. Under a minute to go in the first period. Puck on the left wing side. Kings hold it in again. They get it back to the blue line. Taken there by Stoll. Stoll's pass along the boards. Now Kings on the power play. Regehr goes out of the penalty box right to the bench. Here is Doughty. Doughty feeds it off on the right side. Kings on the power play. Williams to Doughty. Doughty to Lewis. He lost it off his stick, and the Oilers clear it all the way back into the Kings zone. Cleared there by Oscar Klefbom for Nick Keaton. Now back up to center. Kings with it. Here is Martinez. Sends it down in deep. Into the Oilers zone. Oilers get possession of it again, though, and clear it back to center ice. Taken away by McNabb. 19 seconds left to go in the power play, but not that much in the period. Only 7 seconds left in the period now. Martinez shoots up high. Puck comes off into the right corner. Taken there and driven the length of the ice, and that does it for an outstanding first period here at Staples Center tonight. Dustin Brown got it started with his 11th. Gaborik is 24th. Doughty is 6th.
You know, Bob, the Kings had the Oilers back on their heels on attack. The Oilers were giving up the blue line. Of course, the Kings are known for forecheck. The first goal was one of those where Ben Scrivens would say he want to have back because of the angle the shot was taken. But after that, I think he was kind of hung out to dry a couple times. So much puck time for the Kings and backing off the Oilers.
In the first period, the Kings with 12 shots and Edmonton with 9. 3-0 in favor of the Kings. Let's go out. The pests are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Los Angeles Kings is prohibited. Kings Hockey is brought to you by Subaru. Test drive the all-new 2015 Subaru Forester, or go to Subaru.com to learn more. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Buttery Jack Burgers at Jack in the Box with melted garlic herb butter.
Welcome back once again. Staples Center. Ben Scrivens is in goal here to start period number 2. And, you know, Bobby, a good example is Devin Dubnyk. He used to play for the Oilers, moves around. You just get the feel, at least after that first period, if you're a goaltender for the Oilers, you're probably second-guessing your coverage out there. You start guessing on the shot. Is he going to shoot? Is he going to pass? Those types of things. I expect, and I hope I don't see it, but I expect a much better period here by the Edmonton Oilers here in the second period, especially in their coverages. Their coverages broke down. The Kings entered the zone. The Kings just had whatever they want. They had the puck possession, the forecheck, a lot of things going right. The Oilers have to tighten it up.
Second period underway. Moments ago, you saw the youngster that Jim talked about earlier, Tyler Benz, a goaltender who's 23 years old, would be in his rookie year. He played 5 games in Oklahoma City in the American League last year and 13 games in Bakersfield in the East Coast Hockey League. So he's no stranger to Southern California. A lot of you watch our games up in Bakersfield, and Tyler Benz is there. He was called up and signed, I think, just for a little bit here till they get Richard Bachman back after that death in his family. So a tough situation in goal for the Oilers right now because the Kings with a big first period, and yet you have a backup on the bench who's never played in the NHL before.
And I don't want to take anything away from like a guy like Devin Dubnyk for what he's done, but a lot of times when the coverage settles down in front of you, it allows you to focus more on the task at hand, one step at a time, and that makes you a much more effective goaltender.
Kopitar to Doughty, now over to Muzzin. He shoots, it's wide, rebound off the boards. Doughty trying to hold it in, and he did. And now the Oilers take over, and they get it up ahead to the blue line and out to center ice, and then tipped away from Andrew Miller. Oilers get it over to Taylor Hall. Hall across the line. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He had the most shots of the Oilers in the first period, coming up with 4, and the puck taken by the Kings. Drew Doughty. Doughty up ahead, and it is deflected, and the Oilers start back. Here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Sends it down in deep. Into the Kings zone, down in the corner. A battle for it there now as Pouliot tried to get a stick on it. Couldn't do it. Kings try to clear, and they do. Up to Brown at center ice. Brown feeds it right side. Here is Lewis. He shoots and a save and a rebound, and Stoll didn't get it. Then a shot by Brown and a save by Scriven. So pretty good rush by that line, and they had 3 opportunities.
And Trevor Lewis involved earlier on a pretty smart back check by the Kings. The Kings were trying to go through the neutral zone and didn't really make it that way. You see Doughty trying to get through the zone. When it's turned over here by the Kings, just on kind of a bad pass, keep an eye on Trevor Lewis. You got to stop right here, guys. Here's Trevor Lewis. He's going to come right back through the middle, get into a situation where he's taking away lane. He's going to be the first man back on the puck for the Kings. Shield the puck, protect the puck. That's a good job in transition, offense to defense.
Matt Green to the right point of the Oilers zone. Sends it over now, left side, taken by Toffoli. His pass intercepted. I'll tell you what's nice to see so far in this game. Dustin Brown having an outstanding game so far tonight. And offside called against the Oilers here.
Reminder, Bob, that tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. So we want to thank everyone for joining us. Welcome, and of course, thank you for everything you do.
Nice to have all of you with us somewhere around the world serving our country. And the Kings jumped out to a 3-0 lead here in the first period. That's the score right now. Second period just minutes old. Drop pass down the middle. Kings shoot, save, rebound out of the reach of Toffoli. Carter brought it down and dropped it back to King. King looked to be in a pretty good spot to get a good chance for the shot on goal, but it was deflected. Now the Oilers come back, flipped up in the air, and a check by Matt Green, and the Kings get it out to center and back into the Oilers zone. Kings, one more game on this homestand. It's going to be against the Colorado Avalanche here on Saturday night, starting at 7 o'clock. Puck is cleared up to the blue line, and now the Kings get it out to center. Pass ahead, tipped away from Nick Shore, and taken by the Oilers down the right wing side into the zone, and a shot deflected. Matt Hendricks getting the shot. It goes behind the net. Battle for it there. Luke Gazdic has it for the Oilers. Gazdic dropped it back to Hendricks. Now into the corner, checked by McNabb, picked up by Luke Gazdic. Gazdic's pass out to center ice, and the Kings hustling down to get it, but Scrivens comes way out toward the corner, and then passes over, and the Oilers control it in their own zone and play it off the boards up to center ice, and Doughty takes over for the Kings. Oilers take it away in the Kings zone. Gazdic into the right wing corner. Gazdic's pass, then a shot blocked, and Muzzin goes for it. He didn't get it. Gabrick did. Got it out to center ice. Now a pass off the boards, picked up by the Kings again, and driving down the right side into the zone. Pass by Gabrick. He gets it back at the blue line. His pass broken up, and the Oilers with it. But a check throw there by Gabrick as he knocked down Anton Lander. Shot and a save there by Quick in the pads. And the puck comes back out to center ice.
You know, Gabrick there, Bob, he was the guy that turned the puck over. He says, I've got to do the job to get it back, and he certainly does. Very aggressive right there, taking the body.
That shot that was saved in the pads of Quick was by Taylor Hall. Kings in their own zone now, and a little more pressure here in the Kings zone by the Oilers, but the Kings have control of it and get it out to center ice. Oilers take it away. Kings with a 3-0 lead. Now across the line, thrown down across the King line, but intercepted again. That's thrown in by Marincin. Kings come back. Here is Kopitar. Oilers zone. Kopitar check there. Gets it off on the left side to Brown. Back to the blue line now. Kings changing on the fly. Kopitar again, but his pass tipped. And the Oilers bring it back up to center ice. Across the line, left side. Driving down the pass and a shot by Pouliot and a save. Wow, Pouliot pulled the trigger from the left corner. Pouliot's got 17 goals on the year, third on the Oiler team.
And that one is just shot as quick as he gets it. The Oilers finally get a chance to back off the Kings right here. Stop, spin, shot, all in one motion. That's where a goaltender has to be in initial position. If he's not, he's going to get beat on the play. And you saw Quick, top of the crease, good position initially to make the save. That allows the Quick glove to make the stop.
Stoll wins the draw for the Kings, facing off against Nugent Hopkins. Kings still in their own zone, and they get it to the blue line, but not out yet. Now Brown gets it across the line, and the Kings control it.
And a little bit of a different start here. The Oilers playing much better. I thought they would. They're spending more time in the Kings zone, so they're a little bit more effective with the puck, and that allows them to spend less time in their own zone and more time putting the Kings back on their heels.
Puck thrown down into the Oilers zone. Here's Stoll going for it. Put it back behind the net, but the Oilers take over. Pouliot gets it up to the blue line and out to center ice now. Here is Jordan Eberle. Eberle's pass deflected back into the neutral zone. Taken there on the right side, though, as the Oilers get it into Pouliot, and a backhander is wide. Puck comes up the right side and back up to center ice. Into the Oilers zone. Oilers back in to get it, taken by Oscar Klefbom. Now a shot and a save by Quick on that shot by Derek Roy. Back behind the net. McNabb checks Yakupov. Kings get it, and it's tipped out to center ice and into the Oilers zone. Chased down now on the right side by the goaltender. Scrivens, he gets to it in time, but the Kings are called offside. King tried to hold it in. It was Carter racing against Scrivens.
You know, Carter just came out of nowhere, Bob. When he comes from behind with speed, it's very difficult to pick up, and the Oilers didn't pick it up. Now, Ben Scrivens, of course, he's played with Jeff Carter. Look at Carter. He's behind the plate. His stride is just so efficient. And again, it's up to Ben Scrivens right there to understand and know it's the next teammate. He's watched him before, understands his speed. He was right there to get to that loose puck.
Oilers have it in their own zone. They move it up to the blue line and out to center ice. Pass over to Gazdic. He throws it down toward the back of the net, broken up by Quick, and now the Kings back to center, and here is Carter. Carter across the line. Carter throws it left side. Now back behind the net, taken by Carter. He's got Toffoli with him. Back to the blue line, it goes to Muzzin. Feeds it left side, now to the right point, taken by Doughty. Doughty turns, his pass is deflected wide. Kings get control again, though. Now a shot wide off the boards, and the Kings back over to control it again. Carter moves it into King. King to Toffoli. Toffoli tried to throw it in front. It deflects up to the blue line and taken there and driven from center ice, and a pad save made by Jonathan Quick on that shot by Fraser. Kings get it over now to Nick Shore. The rookie on the right side, University of Denver. Shore driving down in deep. He goes down to the ice. So does Oscar Klefbom of the Oilers. These two teams are going to meet one more time in the regular season. It's going to be on this next King road trip. Shot by Clifford, just tipped wide. Nolan was driving in front of the net. And the puck comes back out to center.
Recognition by Kyle Clifford. Gets the puck, knows where the traffic's going to be. No hesitation, just get it to the front of the net.
Now the Oilers get it out to center ice. Taken there and moved ahead, and on the left side to Taylor Hall. Hall makes a move there. Try to get around Martinez. Hall got checked in the corner. Kings have it. Here's Shore getting it up to Martinez. Now across the blue line. Kings have got a man in front. A shot and a save by Scrivens. He gets knocked down.
There's going to be a penalty coming up here to Kyle Clifford. He took the shot, went after the rebound. Neat save here by Ben Scrivens. I mean, it's a clear-cut 2-on-1 with time. And Scrivens was able to stand his ground. Clifford does follow through, make some contact on the play. I mentioned he's probably going to be going off for a goaltender interference. Shot, save, contact. Kings still lead. 3-0. Forward, Matt Hendricks. He's the Masterton Trophy candidate for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's our perseverance, dedication to hockey. And he said earlier in his career he was going to be a scorer coming to junior. He said he had to realize that wasn't going to be the case, so he's turned it around. Bring it up, Bob, because again, American Armed Forces Network watching the game, and Matt's dad was in the Marines. At least that's the way a question was posed to him the other. I heard your dad was in the Marines. He says, whoa, 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 whoa. Not was. Once a Marine, always a Marine. He answered it that way. So, again, thanks to everyone out there watching and helping our country. And thanks to Matt Hendricks, and he's doing a good job. Character guy for the Edmonton Oilers.
Speaking of that Masterton Trophy, Robin Regehr is the Kings candidate. Shot by Schultz and a save and a rebound in front. Score! As Purcell had it right in the slot. And now it is 3-1.
Yeah, long rebound right there. Shot gets through. It's a low shot. And it's just a shot to create a rebound. So the Oilers get exactly what they want. Watch it. Outside, inside, turn, and shoot. So the lane's there. Gets by the first guy. But Teddy's able to pick it up. And watch him. He just kind of scoops it here. He doesn't have a lot of time. He knows he doesn't have it. There's not much room. Wow. Look at the pads there. Jonathan Quick thinks the pads are together. That's the way goaltenders' pads are made nowadays. When you go down onto your knees right there, the tops come together. But there was just enough room, maybe just enough for the puck. That's all it was. But the setup is there. Outside to the middle, get it through for the rebound. That's how a lot of power play goals are scored. Oilers, a little bit of life, get back in the game.
Former King Teddy Purcell. He was with the Kings in 2007. Oilers again, a shot and a save. Purcell again. Looking for his second straight goal, and save made by Quick.
Completely different period here. Again, the Oilers were in trouble in the first, and a lot of that was their own doing because they just made sure that the Kings were able to do what they wanted because the coverages are blown. So you'll see the ability to get the puck to the middle. That's always so important. The man in the middle right there is Schultz. He's going to go back and forth into the middle. It's going to happen.
Oilers have outshot the Kings here in this second period. 7-3. Puck comes back up to center ice. Taken by the Oilers again. Over now to Klefbom. Drives it down into the King zone. Robin Regehr over to get to it. Put it behind the net to Martinez. Martinez into the corner to Toffoli. Toffoli's pass taken away by Roy, but he got knocked down by the Kings' Jeff Carter. Carter clears it out to center. Loose puck. Who's got it? Kings do. It's Toffoli. Tipped away from him. King goes for it. Kings get it back again now, their own blue line. Purcell, his 11th, came on the power play from Schultz and Eberle. Kings move it, but it deflects back behind the net, and now the Oilers back up to center ice. They don't clear. Kings hold it in. Carter goes down the middle, a shot, save and a rebound. Carter took a swipe at it, but he was in pretty deep.
Scrivens, Bob, almost jumped at that puck. He went with a blocker to make the save. He kind of jumped his whole body across, so the Kings, sensing that the Oilers were trying to get back in this game, come back with a pretty good shift himself.
Oilers get it up to Taylor Hall, former #1 pick. Now across the line. Good check there by Matt Green. Green throwing the check, and the Kings get it back to the blue line and out to center ice. Green hitting Andrew Miller as he got to the blue line, and now puck is poked deep into the corner, and the Oilers back to play it. Into the corner again, and it rolls right in front, and Scrivens stops it there as Keith Hawley got hit, and then the puck got kicked loose and covered by Scrivens.
And again, we'll see right here. You got to give me a stop, guys. You have Schultz in the middle, of course. You have a couple of guys for the Oilers. Not only one guy, you have a second guy, and that second guy, the high guy, is going to be the factor. You see two Kings converge on the loose puck, and there's not a lot of room right there. Teddy Purcell, he kind of understands that type of play, but I formation on the power play works, especially when you get it through, because if the first guy doesn't get it, the second guy has a good chance. That's exactly the way it's diagrammed and exactly the way it's executed.
Purcell's power play goal assisted by Schultz and Eberle at 7:55 here in the second period. High pass to center, broken up by Muzzin, but taken now by the Oilers again, and they get it off on the left side to Hall. Hall into the King zone. He gets checked there. Got it back to the left point. Held in there by Klefbom. His shot and a save in the glove of Quick.
Well, the Kings Care Foundation is teaming up with Cell Phones for Soldiers for a new and used cell phone drive during the Kings pregame fan fest. That's at LA Live this Saturday. So pregame fans who contribute will be entered to win a team assigned stick. LAKings.com/Earth Month for more details. So cell phones for soldiers, and spread the love around, and everyone can have a cell phone.
Final now, Chicago over Vancouver 3-1. Puck is taken by the Oilers at the left point. Shot by Schultz is deflected by Quick into the corner, and Regehr going for it. Kings have it. They bring it back up to the blue line and now to center ice. Thrown ahead now by Williams in deep into the Oilers zone. Kopitar is trying to get to it. Now still a battle in the corner, and Williams backs off to get his stick on it. Then Kopitar. Now picked up in a nice move there. Pass to Kopitar from Gabrick. Back over to Martinez. Now Regehr. Regehr plays it off the boards to Williams. Williams to Kopitar. Kopitar's pass taken away by Eberle. Oilers 3-on-3 to center. Across the line, offside. Called against the Oilers. 9:16 to go here in the second. The Kings have a 3-1 lead. When we come back, Patrick O'Neill on the bench with that man, Matt Green.
Matt, I'll start with maybe perhaps what you want to see cleaned up here in this period with your team.
Just better D zone, getting pucks up and out of our zone, getting sustainable zone time.
When things are working like they did in that first period and lately a little bit of a push here, what do you like most?
Good cycle game.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
okay, guys, back to you.
In case you're wondering, and I was wondering yesterday, I saw Matt at practice, he had the 2 black eyes. Normally when you have black eyes like that, you get hit in the nose and you break your nose, you get the black eyes. He said, not the case. He said, 2 games in a row. Minnesota, bump on one eye. Chicago, next game, bump on the other eye. 2 black eyes without a broken nose.
Well, there is some good news to that story. Puck comes around the boards into the Kings zone, and McNabb over there to Gabrick. Now the Kings break out to center ice. Here is Williams feeding it left side. Kopitar pulls up, still has it. Kopitar with it to the blue line. McNabb shoots just wide. Rebound off the boards. Kings can't get to it. Now they do in the corner. Played there by Gabrick. Kind of fanned on his shot. Oilers take it away, and it's cleared up the center ice by Luke Gazdic. Now driven in and a stick save made on the shot by the Edmonton Oilers. Stick save by Quick on the shot by Hendricks. Kings poke it around the boards, but Marincin holds it in there for the Oilers, and down into the corner now. Still controlled by Edmonton. Back to the blue line. Picked up there, and a shot by Marincin is knocked down in front, and then a shot off the post. The Oilers almost came to within a goal of tying this game up. Puck is taken by Williams and put it in, but intercepted there by Martin Marincin. He's in his second year. Gets to the blue line, taken away as they fumbled it. Picked up by Clifford. Clifford left side. His shot knocked down. He goes for it again. It came off of the glove of Scrivens. Then picked up behind the net by Clifford again. Threw it into the corner to Nolan. Nolan with Shore. Nolan drives in front. And he scores! It looked like no room at all. And yet there's the drive by Nolan, and the Kings have a 4-1 lead.
Well, one off the post at one end. What happens? It always happens. The other team come back and score. Matt Green was telling Patrick O'Neill, the cycle game, he likes it here. That's what's been happening. It started with that 70s line, not much room, and there was. It just sneaks over top. So it's a good cycle, it's a good move, but once again, I'd have to say Ben Scrivens has to clean this up. He's got to clean it up right there. It's a jam attempt, and again, it's not like it's a good opportunity. Ben had his stick there ready for a poke check on the backhand. It didn't go for the poke. He just kind of allowed the jam. I think it chipped over top of the pad. Bad angle goal once again. Kings lead 4-1.
Well, the fans behind the net down there, they knew it was in before Scrivens did. 4-1 in favor of the Kings.
Again, the good thing was the forecheck, the cycle, and more than one line doing it. It's line after line when you get the cycle working that way. You know, bad things do happen for the other team. So the Kings kind of turned that around again. The Oilers were that close to getting back with one off the post, and the Kings make it a 3-goal deficit.
Nolan getting his first in 21, so a lot of King players getting goals tonight and breaking some goal-scoring droughts. Puck is cleared up ahead to center to Carter, but his pass taken away by the Oilers and sent back into the King zone, and Muzzin back to get it. Plays it off the boards up to King, and now over to Toffoli. Toffoli down the right side. Carter's in the middle. Shoots! Save made by Scrivens. Carter just reached out to deflect the pass, and Scrivens made the save.
Jeff Carter scored a goal very similar to this on the road trip a while ago, a short-handed goal. The passer was Toffoli, and Scrivens opened up on the play. This time Scrivens does not open up. And I'm really impressed right there how Tyler Toffoli kept his speed up from kind of a dead stop acceleration. Then he knew Carter was going to be there. Redirection, a little bit high this time, and Edmonton went between the legs that time into the belly.
Oilers across the King line. Here's Eberle shooting, and it's deflected, and the Kings have it. Move it down in behind the net to Regehr. 6.5 minutes to go in the second period. Bob Miller with Jim Fox. And a hand pass called here against the Kings, and the Kings with a 4-1 lead on a night when they're getting help around the NHL.
Yeah, getting help around the NHL. The Oilers were not good in the first period. The coverages were not there. They've improved that here in the second, but the Kings are a bigger team. That's part of the reason why guys like Carter are able to get where they go, even like a Nolan. They're a little bit bigger, and the Kings know that, and the Oilers will address that as far as personnel. You want to be a little bit bigger and stronger back on the blue line.
Nolan with his 5th from Clifford at 12:14 to make it 4-1. Kings with it again now in deep and falling down before he could shoot. The puck came loose and back up to center ice. It was Lewis trying to move in closer and lost his balance. Now here is Klefbom of the left point. He drives it around the boards, and the Kings with it there, but a tripping penalty going to be called against the Kings.
Yakupov has a little spin move right there, and he draws the penalty. Kicks the skate back into position. The Kings don't like it. They felt that maybe Yakupov, in spinning himself, put him in a situation where he'd fall off balance. We'll get a look right here. No question. Skate of McNabb, the right skate extended away from his body. So it's not like the skates just come together. McNabb was caught on the play. He was surprised by that spin. So he says to himself, I've got to make sure Yakupov doesn't get the chance right now, but the Oilers will get the chance. 5-on-4 power play coming right up.
So McNabb for tripping at 13:58. The Oilers hold it right on the line as Eberle got his stick on it. They have a power play goal in the game, and they've got the man advantage again. Pass back to the blue line. Now over to Eberle. Jordan Eberle hangs on to it, still has it, feeds it across the ice. They almost lose it. Now the middle is shot by Schultz is wide. Eberle plays it there. Tipped up the middle, and can the Kings clear? No. Held in back at the blue line. They get it over to Jordan Eberle again. He's their leading scorer. He drives one that's tipped wide and up out of play. The Kings in this game tonight getting Brown his first goal in 20, Doughty is first in 25, and Nolan is first in 21.
You don't want to see those streaks continue to be that long, and Daryl Sutter was mentioning that on the last road trip with guys who haven't scored in a long time. Thousands of years, he said. But the Kings do get that balance, the balance with offense. 4 big goals already so far in this game, still just down. You got 5:29. They're going to drop the puck once again. It's not a false face-off. They're just do it once again and see what happens. So the Oilers just trying to look for some life here. They have played much better here in the second period. Now their second chance here, man advantage.
And on the draw, it is going to be taken by the Kings. Matt Green. Green sent it back, and now it's cleared all the way back into the Oilers' zone. The Kings in this game have points from 10 players, and only one player has multiple points, and that's Kopitar with 2 assists. Puck sent down the right side. Here's Pouliot in the middle to Hall, and he tipped it wide to the left. Picked up again by the Oilers. They get it off on the right side to Pouliot, back up the middle. Oilers left side now, and Roy, his pass across the ice, and a quick shot and a save by Quick. Quick diving to his left after that quick shot by Yakupov.
And there's the washout sign by the referee, Tom Cowell, because of the situation going on where the possibility, and again, it is reviewable. Everything's reviewable as far as the puck crossing the line. Did the glove of Jonathan Quick sneak back over the line? But this is the Children's Hospital Los Angeles save of the game, and there's no question about that. Quick anticipated. At the same time, you got to put the anticipation together with the technique. And he slides, glove free, makes a stop.
Oilers in the King zone again. Pass off on the right side by Nikitin. In front and tipped wide and taken by Doughty. Doughty plays it off the glass and back into the Oilers zone.
That save by Quick. You know, you hope it's one of those where, but you look back here. I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Confidence factor, power play for the Oilers, looking for their second.
And they come across the line into the King zone. 30 seconds left to go in the King penalty. Oilers give it away, and it is cleared by Doughty. Oilers have 1 shot in this power play. They've got 20 seconds remaining with a man advantage. Now the Oilers up ahead to center ice. Nikitin To the blue line, across the line, and tipped away from Ryan Nugent. Hopkins back out to center ice. Kings go for it there and send it deep into the Oilers zone. And the Kings are back at full strength. McNabb out of the penalty box. Kings kill the penalty. Still have a 3-goal lead here late in the second period. Pass comes up the left side and cleared out to center ice now by Anton Lander. And down into the Kings zone. Eberle chasing it down in deep. Go Kings go, the chant here. The fans love the penalty kill by the Kings on a great save by Quick, and then a shot by Lander and a save. Puck down in deep again. Played by Eberle. Threw it in front. Deflected up along the boards on the right side, and the Kings able to clear out the center as Clifford got it there, but the Oilers send it right back in. Here is Matt Green to Nolan. Nolan's pass is knocked down and now loose, and Shore clears it out to center for the Kings back into the Oilers zone. Into the corner goes Nolan. He got checked there. Oilers hold it in. Nolan goes over the bench. Puck is taken by Edmonton in their own zone. And they move it around the left wing side, but not out yet. Chased into the corner as Gabrick goes for it there. Gabrick down to one knee. He gets it. He knocks down Matt Fraser. And the puck taken by the Oilers back up to center ice. Marincin, his pass ahead, and taken by Muzzin, who came back to take it away. He got knocked down, but he got it out to center ice.
And Hendricks just following through right there. Solid check with the shoulder first. No problem on that one.
Picked up by Derek Roy. Roy left side. Now down in deep, Keith Ollie. But offside called against the Oilers.
Well, the Kings felt themselves in a little bit of trouble because of the Oilers going on here in the second period, but Nolan takes it 4-1. For the 4-1 lead now, Derek Roy has his head up right here. He's showing shot, so Jonathan Quick, who's not pictured right now, has to respect that shot, but watch his pass. Matt Green, one stick. It just slides by the stick of Matt Green. So you got to pick the seam. Second stick is Jeff Carter, right there by the stick of Jeff Carter. But watch when Jonathan Quick explodes. One turn, push, and there's still an upper corner right there. But Quick gets back, and again, glove, arm on top of the pad. So that's double stack right there to make the save. Would have had to be a perfect shot. Good explosion across the crease.
Oilers have it in their own zone. The Kings have a power play. Too many men on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. So the Kings with a power play here as they move it up ahead to center and down the right side. Into the zone, in deep is Kopitar. Back to the blue line, it goes to Doughty. He shoots, it's blocked, rebound Kopitar. Kopitar again to Doughty. Left side and a shot wide by Muzzin. Rebound behind the net. Still loose. Carter to Kopitar. To Doughty. Faked the pass to his left, gave it off on the right to Kopitar. Kopitar down in deep, in front to Carter, and his shot went wide. Taken now by Doughty. Doughty to the blue line to Muzzin. Right side it goes to Kopitar. Now over, a shot saved by Scrivens on that shot by Gabrick. Kopitar to the blue line again. Kings, a lot of room to move it around, and a pass just tipped away. They're trying to get it over to Doughty. Tipped away by Hendricks, and now in deep to score. Nice pass in front. Get the power play goal, and they now lead 5-1 on Jeff Carter's power play goal.
Throughout the entire exchange, Jeff Carter was the most dangerous player on the ice, and for that reason I thought the Oilers were going to adjust and take him away, but they don't end up doing it. Now, maybe the coverage is there, but watch how quick. Looking one way, maybe everyone thinks that Gabrick's going to go behind the net. Not the case. We're going to slow it down. Perfect pass, bounces once, perfect shot, kind of a scoop highlight, and perfectly placed. But I will have to mention once again, 4 of the 5 goals high to the blocker side against Ben Scrivens. The Kings have found something, and they found 5 goals here against the Oilers.
Carter getting his 27th of the season. This one is knocked away by Scrivens and into the corner now, taken by the Oilers. Doughty's going to get an assist on it along with Gabrick. Puck comes to the King zone. A shot by Hall, saved by Quick. Loose puck. Quick tipped it away just before Schultz could get there for the Oilers. Now the Kings back up to center ice. Pass ahead and down the right side. Brown tried to get to it. Jim, at the start of this telecast, we talked about getting offense and defense in the same game. Well, Kings have gotten both so far.
You kind of know the defense is going to be there. I know at the end of the last road trip it wasn't for 2 games in a row, but at the same time, that is a staple for the Kings. It's all about the O. And you talked about earlier, all the balance the Kings are getting, everyone getting involved.
Here now is Nolan in deep in the Oilers zone, but it's broken up and they get it over to Jordan Eberle. Now to center ice. Eberle checked there, and coming back to take it for the Kings is Clifford.
That's Jordan Nolan working hard on the back check. Has a goal there in the second period, but he has to be hard to play against. Was there?
Right side, Clifford shoots and a save by Scrivens. He had Nick Shore with him on the left side, but took the shot right before the buzzer. That's the end of the second period. And the Kings, in that period, they give up a goal to Teddy Purcell of the Oilers, a power play, but then Nolan gets his 5th and Carter his 27th to make it 5-1.
A couple of resets there in the second period by the Kings. They came on cycle shifts where the Kings were able to reestablish their game. Even if they didn't score, they got a better feel for the game. The Oilers were much better there in the second period. There's no question about that, but Jeff Carter power play goal right there, top corner. Jordan Nolan cycle. The Kings, everyone involved offensively. At Staples Center, we're downtown LA live. What's happened? A lot happened on the scoreboard. The Kings with 5 goals after 2 periods of play downstairs. Right now, Davis Payne behind the bench for the Kings. Davis, there was a little bit of pushback there by the Oilers in the second. What turned it around for the Kings to get this big lead?
Well, I think we started getting our game in behind their defensemen again. It's the strength of our game. You see Jordan Nolan coming off the walls. That all starts from making sure the puck's in the right areas and taking the game to the blue paint. And just mostly a determination to get our game in the right spots.
What about the mindset here with a big lead? What are you looking for from your team knowing that you have a 4-goal lead here?
We're looking to play our best 20. We're not done here tonight. We know how important it is to keep playing our game. It's a dangerous hockey club over there. They'll score on quick strike opportunities we give them. We make sure we take those away by playing, again, below their tops of circles.
Well, Ben Scrivens is on the bench right now, so in his first action for the Edmonton Oilers, there is Tyler Benz. So he joins the team, comes up because of Backman has to go back with unfortunate situation with the death of the family. Bob Benchin played last year ECHL, also American Hockey League. First chance here, first moment in the National Hockey League right now.
And the third period underway as Tyler Benz, who, as we mentioned, played in Bakersfield last year, comes in. First ever moments, or minutes, I should say, in the NHL. Had never played in the NHL before. Oilers into the King zone and down into the right wing corner. A battle for it there, and Pouliot drops it off. Now behind the net, Pouliot goes for it again, and the Oilers try to keep it alive. They get it to Ben Pouliot. Pouliot tried to throw it in front, taken away, tipped to the blue line, and the Kings out to center ice. Pass ahead, left side. Here's Gabrick. Just got checked there, and he fanned on his shot, and the puck comes back out to center ice. Talk about the Kings' offense. In 5 previous games, the Kings had 5 goals and 101 shots. Tonight they had 5 goals and 21 shots. And they hang on to it here as we get a face-off coming up. So the Kings offensively have really come on tonight, although, as you know, the Oilers having a tough season.
And 29th coming in goals against, so second last in the NHL. And again, the coverage we saw earlier in the game, and in all honesty, a couple of bad angle goals. The jam went by Nolan, the first goal of the game, so got to tighten it up there.
Shot from back of the blue line is wide. Nikitin getting the shot, and the Kings take it away as it comes off the boards, and they get it out to center ice. Tipped away back into the Kings zone, but the Oilers would have been offside. They had to let it go, and the Kings have it in their own zone, and Regehr moves it up to center and all the way down the Oilers zone, and icing called against the Kings.
On the pregame show, Bob, I went over some specifics of certain players and what the Oilers are playing for. They can't get into the playoffs, they know that, but still something to play for. And Daryl Sutter yesterday at practice was quite honest. He said, you know what? When you have a chance to make between $700,000 and $7 million a year as a salary, you've got something to play for next year, and you're fighting to get back into the NHL. If you're one of those bubble guys at maybe American Hockey League, good chance here to have that audition. We talk about that every year, but I think a lot of people feel there's going to be some turnover with the Edmonton Oilers. They have all that skill, but the chemistry is not there.
Yeah, they've had a lot of number 1 picks and just been unable to put that whole season together, and a shot by Regehr is stopped there by Tyler Bunds.
There's Tyler right there. So his save percentage is a perfect 100% of everything he's seen so far. And So 23 years old. So again, he's another guy probably just trying to get up the ladder. You know, he's not going to be looking probably to take over as the starting goaltender next year. That would be maybe a little bit unrealistic, but you get your foot in the door. You make an impression. You work hard in practice. You set the tone for your teammates and your coaching staff. And then maybe you get a chance in the future. Still a long way to go. Only 23 years old.
On the Oiler goal by Teddy Purcell, a power play goal, they've taken an assist away from Jordan Eberle and given it to Schultz. So it's now Purcell from Lander and Justin Schultz. Into the Kings zone in the corner, a battle for it there is Carter trying to get his stick on it. He did. He got it over to Green, and the Kings get it up to center ice, and on the left wing side, here's Carter cutting in front. Carter shoots, and a save by Buns. How would you like that for your second guy you stop? You're looking at Carter coming right in front.
Yeah, the speed's going to pick up, so Buns has to kind of stay composed here. The speed across the creases there, but he doesn't open up on the play. Real good technique here. The side-to-side movement. Carter protects. He loses the puck, but you can see Buns is right there. He's there. He's waiting. He's not overreacting. That's a good sign for a young goaltender. I think the one thing you see from a lot of young goaltenders is too much movement. Not a lot of movement right there, and he just kind of holds on to make the save because the shot is not taken that hard, but good positioning by the tender.
And at center ice, the Oilers put it into the Kings zone. Taken by Muzzin. Muzzin's pass up to center, intercepted there, and the Oilers get it back again. Sent deep into the Kings zone. Gazdic trying to go in there to get it, but Muzzin beats him to it. Kings pass along the boards is controlled by the Kings, and they get it over to Muzzin. Muzzin to center to Clifford. Clifford drives it in deep. Hendricks going forward there for the Oilers. It rolls for the back of the net. Hendricks with it again. Chased by Clifford. Now the Kings take it away. Here's Williams up the middle. Shot from there is blocked. The shot by Martinez. Back to the blue line to Regehr. He shoots. Score! Martinez with a drive from the left point. And the Kings now lead 6-1. Had some traffic in front of the net. But Robin Regehr got the shot, and the Kings now with 6 goals in the game.
And Bob, it looked like kind of a end over end. First one right there by Hendricks does a great job to block it. Then the shot comes in. Does it hit anything? It looks like it hits Hendricks again this time, but he can't get the block on it. Is there a knuckleball effect? Look at that. Oh, no question. It's going, it's fluttering, who knows? Buns can't see it because of the traffic with Kyle Clifford in front. A lot of things going right there for the Kings. 6-1, Kings over the Oilers.
Kings take it away again, and Williams put it down in deep. Oilers get a stick on it, though, but Williams took it away. Now to Gaborik, score! Off the glove of Benz. Gaborik gets the goal. And the Kings now lead 7-1.
Just unfortunate. Never want to see one of those situations. I'll take the 7 goals, but you have a young goaltender in his first game. He looked real composed early. This one, is it a change-up? It may not have been. It certainly was going high on the play. And goaltenders normally in this situation, if they have the presence of mind to back off, they let it go and let it go high. So you take it. It was going to go high. You see Ben Scrivens there talking to the young guy, just trying to settle him down. It's a great job, Ben. That's a great job. And you know what? Yeah, that's a great job. So Buns is in a situation where he's just going to try to find himself again. And you know where I'm talking from. Kings, I want the 2 points, and I want 7 goals. But, you know, with a young goaltender like that, you never like to see that type of thing happen. He just took a wave at it, and he thought he had it. It was a little bit high. And again, it's one of those where if he doesn't make contact, it doesn't go in. But it's off the glove when the Kings have 7.
Well, Gaborik got the last one. That's his second of the night and 25th of the year. Previous to that was Regehr that made it 6-1. Gaborik made it 7-1. That's where we stand right now.
But, you know, it's a little thing there with Ben Scrivens, but it's nice to see because if you're an Edmonton Oilers goaltender, I think you have a right to be upset at a lot of things. For the coverage of your team, how you play defense, those types of things. And Ben would have a right to be upset with what's going on this entire season. But he had the big picture in mind. He had a young kid in there, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But he just wanted to settle him down, do his job. As a teammate, help the other guy out.
Lander throws it deep into the Kings' zone. Now along the boards, it is dug out. Brown with it. taken away by Everly. Everly down toward the corner, threw it down in deep. They're announcing the goals now, trying to catch up with the scoring plays. Puck comes down in deep, and losing his stick was Muzzin, but he kicked it over on the right side, and the Kings back up to center. Pass off the boards, chased in by Brown, and he picks it up in the corner. His pass in deep, tipped wide to the right side, rebound, and right on the goal line, but did not go in, and the Oilers iced the puck.
And the Oilers called a timeout. They tried to settle things down, and it looks like Buns is still rattled. He's asking, is it a goal? Is it a goal? It went in behind him. It was not a goal. It looked like the defenseman got back with plenty of time. There wasn't a lot of room, but you'll see the weird play. It bounces off. It's there, it's there, it's there. And it really doesn't even probably hit the line here. It probably stays outside, but you can see if someone on the Oilers doesn't get there and time goes by, someone on the Kings would, but the goaltender lost the feel for the puck, didn't know where it was.
Well, a goal by Regier that made it 6-1 unassisted at 2:53 of the third. Then Gabrick with his second of the night, 25th of the year, assisted by Williams at 3:15 to make it 7-1.
You've been talking with Davis Payne there after two periods, and again, habits are formed all the time. And with everything so crucial and critical right now for the Kings, I think that was Davis was talking about. You don't want to get into a situation, regardless of the score, of getting into bad habits. Now, the Kings have scored a couple more here, but they haven't forced things. They haven't run out of position. They haven't forgot about defense to score those extra goals. So keep going with those good habits. When you look at the big picture of the entire season, one play can make a difference in so many different ways. It could be tonight, could be tomorrow. So you keep going those good habits continue, you win some games.
Kings got 2 goals in 22 seconds to make it 7-1. And the Oilers now send it into the King zone, and here is McNabb back in to get it. He flipped it into the corner. Puck comes behind the King net and taken by Green. Now to King. Taken away from him. Purcell threw it in front, but it's tipped away, and King, for the Kings, moves it up on the right side to Carter. Now back over to King. He chased it in. It's got Toffoli, the trailer, but it's tipped away, and the Oilers back to center. Teddy Purcell. He's got their goal, but coming back was Carter to strip it 2-on-1. Or 2-on-2, I'm sorry. Right side. Toffoli shoots, save. King with a rebound, and it went up high and wide to the right. Here's King again. Up the middle. Toffoli couldn't get a shot. Oilers take over.
That skill of Toffoli is not able to be shown unless you have that initial back check by Jeff Carter. He did the job coming back through the middle.
Yakupov knocked down in the corner. Puck is fought for. Hendricks goes for it. Tipped away. Yakupov with it again. Nail Yakupov tried to come in front. The net got knocked loose. But the Kings have it. Now they blow it down. And
one of the Kings was involved with the net coming off. Yakupov was the guy who knocked it off, but a King pushed Yakupov, so that's the reason you blow it down. So King just keeps it going right through. Could have been dangerous. I thought he hit just the mesh, but it looked like maybe off the side of the post too. Good look there. He just gets his head out of the way, and he takes it off the shoulder. So that's the important thing there for the Edmonton Oilers. Faceoff stays inside because it was the push of King into Yakupov that forced it off the mooring.
Faceoff in the King zone to the left of Jonathan Quick, and they don't drop the puck, and we're going to get a change in the face-off here as Clifford comes in to take the draw, and who's got it? The Oilers chase it down, left wing side, back to the blue line. A shot from there is wide. Rebound off the boards, taken back behind the net, and now the Kings, Nolan gets to it, and Nolan clears it up ahead to center ice. Shovels it ahead toward Clifford. Clifford throws a check, gets the puck around the left wing corner. Now still a battle for it in the Oilers zone. They clear it out to center, but McNabb takes it away for the Kings. Thrown right back down in deep, and Marincin back to get it. Check from behind, but he got it out in front to Hendricks. Marincin again. Now Hendricks again. We've still got 13:30 to go in the third period, and the Kings have 7 goals. Long shot and a save by Jonathan Quick. And he hangs on to it for a face-off. 7-1, Kings lead. We'll be right back.
Around the corner Saturday, April 11th, MLB returns to Fox Sports 1 with a doubleheader as, what about this matchup? The Red Sox take on the Yankees in the Bronx, followed by a playoff rematch, the Kansas City Royals battle Mike Trout and the Angels. Coverage begins Saturday, April 11th, 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Face off in the Kings zone. Here in the third period, the Kings take on Colorado on Saturday night to end this homestand. Off the draw here, the Kings clear it out to center ice. Kings are 2-0-0 against the Avalanche this year. It'll be Saturday night. We'll be on the air with Kings Live at 6:30. Puck comes down into the corner of the Kings zone. Chase down there, and Kings intercept, though, and move it up along the boards. Now pass is tipped to the blue line, but not out. Held in. A glove save by Quick on a long shot by back of the blue line. And he hangs on for the faceoff.
Jonathan Quick still in goal, Bob. Our director, Mike Hassan's been in my ear saying, why is Jonathan Quick still in this game at 7-1? I have two things that come to mind. First of all, you've got to worry about the physical ability of Martin Jones to come into the game at this point. He would be cold. He might have a chance to maybe injure himself more so than the next guy. And I also have another point about that, and I'll get that to in a second.
Now the loose puck played along the boards, but the Oilers pitch down in to try and get to it. Send it behind the net. Nikita gave it to Hall. Now up the middle, a shot. Save again by Quick on the shot by Anton Lander.
Then back to Jonathan Quick, Bob, on that second situation with, why is he in hockey? It happens in other sports. Maybe a backup quarterback comes in, those types of things. But I think in hockey, there's also that professional respect. The Oilers are having a tough night. The Oilers are, had a tough year. You don't want to emphasize that point by pulling your own goaltender to rest him. It's just one of those things as a professional you don't do.
Shot from the right side by Hall and a save by Quick. Hall had a good chance there. Quick made the save. The Oilers hold it in, but now the puck taken by Jarrett Stoll. The last time the Kings scored 7 goals in a game, October 24th, 2013, against the Phoenix Coyotes. Kings with it again. Stoll goes in deep, tipped away there, and taken by the Edmonton Oilers. Another thing I think, Jim, a lot of times a team does not, you don't want to embarrass an opponent. The Kings are going to play them again up in Edmonton.
Well, that's what I was just saying, Bob.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Respect. Respect for the opposition.
Here's Yakupov. He got checked and knocked off the puck, but the Oilers hold it in. Shot for the right point. Knocked down in front. Yakupov with it. And his shot went wide. Yakupov goes for it again. Now back to the blue line and lost out to center ice by Marincin. And the Kings back to kind of look like a little drafting.
A little NASCAR there.
Clifford was hanging on to a jersey.
He was. Saving energy, I guess, right?
That's right.
Let the other guy pull you around the ice.
Puck taken up to the blue line and up to center ice and thrown down into the Oilers zone, and Oilers back to get it. Here's Matt Hendricks. He gets checked there. Puck is taken by the Oilers to the blue line and up to center ice. 11 minutes left to go here in the third. The Oilers must be looking to see if that clock is running all the time. Up the middle, taken away, and a shot by Gazdic and just tipped wide. Hendricks was in front too.
Well, they turned it on here the last little while. Watch out here through the middle.
Now pass ahead. Here's Carter down the middle. He shoots. Score! Jeff Carter makes it 8-1 Kings.
And you can see by the reaction of the Kings too here. You take what the other team gives you, but there's no celebration. There's no hugs. There's no kisses. There's nothing like that. But from up here, I could see Jeff Carter. Now, it's not the first one, saves made. It's the second one right there on the backhand. So the rebound was in the air a couple of moments, and that just allowed Jeff Carter to keep his eye on the puck and get it there before the goaltender could get back into position. But that breakdown again, that's not the goaltender right there. He made the save on the breakaway. That's just wide open through the middle. Jeff Carter with speed, and the Oilers not taking care of that.
Now the Kings again had it for a second in the Oilers zone, but it's taken away. Carter gets his second of the night and 28th of the year. Leads the Kings in goal scoring. And the Kings now with 8 goals in the game. King will get an assist on the goal by Carter. And also Toffoli. So the Kings going to pick up ground on everybody in the West tonight. Puck is thrown in front and tipped away and then cleared to the blue line, but not out. Held in by Marincin. His shot saved by Quick. Rebound controlled by the Oilers. You got to hand it to the Oilers. They're still battling in there. They haven't given up, and I mean, it's got to be so disappointing.
But the structure defensively, there's time and time again. It's one of those things where communication, it's just not there, and here we go again.
Here's a pass over on the right side, just out of the reach of Kopitar. He goes in deep. The Kings have points from 14 players in this game tonight. Here now is Taylor Hall. Hall moves it up the right side to Eberle. Now back to center ice. Here's Hall across the line. It rolls away from him and covered by Jonathan Quick.
So the Kings get the offense going. They get everyone involved. They have a 7-goal lead. I will remind you, though, coming up a little bit later, Carl's Jr. Sports Update will take place with Patrick O'Neill. He'll take a look around the rest of the teams in the Western Conference, their schedules, the teams the Kings are battling.
2-point conversion. Kings now lead the Oilers 8-1. And Patrick O'Neill here with the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. Looking at the week ahead with these teams that the Kings are chasing, Calgary and Winnipeg. I look at the Flames, I look at the last two, LA and then at Winnipeg. Winnipeg has a really tough schedule and no Dustin Byfuglien, as the guys have been talking about. For the Kings, Jim and Bob, hey, every single game is important and they got to win them all.
I don't look at that, Patrick. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I look at that board, and tonight it's gone the way for the LA Kings.
Now the Oilers with a shot, but a whistle on an offside here. Or a hand pass, I'm sorry. So the Kings have multiple point scorers tonight. Gaborik, 2 goals, 1 assist. Carter, 2 goals. Doughty, a goal and assist. Kopitar, 2 assists. And Williams, 2 assists. Face-off just outside the blue line of the Kings. Tyler Bunz came on, the youngster who has never played in the NHL before. Allowed 2 goals on the first 5 shots he faced. Puck back behind the Oiler net. They chased it down there. Williams came in to try and get a stick on it. Nikita Nikitin moved along the boards. Now it is cleared off on the left side, and Anton Lander's pass now comes out to center ice, and back to get it is Muzzin. Muzzin over to Doughty. Doughty checked there, and the pass going to be picked up by Muzzin. Muzzin gets it up to center ice. Taken there by Gaborik. Gaborik tried to get it over to Kopitar. Tipped away, and the Oilers back in to get it. Jordan Eberle. Now cleared back out to center. The Oilers are not going to go home tonight. They're going to stay overnight. They may change their mind. They want to get out of town as soon as they can. Puck into the corner. Remember one time in Buffalo, the Kings got beat about 10-2, and the windshield on their charter plane cracked, and they couldn't leave town, had to stay in Buffalo after the game. It was painful. Up the center ice. Across the line, a shot is up high and off the boards and back to the blue line where the Oilers hold it in again. Get it down into the corner. Now cleared out to center ice as the Kings clear it there, and now into the Oilers zone. Oilers back in to get it. Moved around the boards by Brandon Davidson. Up to Teddy Purcell. Purcell's got the Oiler goal in the game. It came on a power play. Puck driven into the Kings zone. Kings have it there. 7:20 left to go here in this third period. Pass up ahead to center, and Clifford chasing it down the left side. Clifford goes in deep in the Oilers zone. Now behind the net. Comes out left side to Regehr. Regehr had it taken away, and the Oilers back to center. Down the right side, a pass up the middle. Poke checked away there by Martinez.
Getting back to with Jordan Nolan, Bob. Under the circumstance, the game's already won. You have the 2 points, but you still keep going with those good habits. And Nolan back-checking right through the middle. He was able to make sure the Oilers didn't get a 2-on-1.
Here now is Clifford. Clifford up to center, and his pass to the Oiler line. Nolan couldn't hang on. Shore came by to try to get a stick on it, but the Oilers send it into the Kings zone and chased down now by Martinez. Alec Martinez drives it off the right wing boards. Oilers get control of it, send it into the King zone, down into the right wing corner, chased down in there by Andrew Miller, now thrown in front, broken up by Martinez, and it's cleared out to center, and King goes for it there, but batted away from him and back into the King zone where Muzzin goes back to throw it into the corner. Now behind the net, Doughty went down to the ice, puck taken by the Kings. Back to Muzzin, drives it into the Oilers zone. Played off the boards there by Keith Ollie. He moved it around, but the Kings hold it in. Here's Carter. Carter looking for a hat trick, so is Gabrick tonight. Puck comes back out to center and taken down by Muzzin. Kings take their time. Everything is settled here. Here is Kopitar down in deep. He shoots and a save by Buns. So 5:32 remains in the third period, and the Kings enjoying a 8-1 lead.
Team analysis. Well, we asked for offense, and we get some offense. Most since back in 2010. Jonathan Quick. You see his goals against average versus the Edmonton Oilers. He has owned them. The Kings under Daryl Sutter versus the Oilers. The Kings have done very well, but at the end of the night, no matter how many goals the Kings get, it'll be 2 points, and that'll be the number the Kings are looking for. 2 big points in the Western Conference.
Well, you saw in that graphic, as Jim pointed out, Daryl Sutter, since he came to the Kings, has never lost in regulation to the Oilers. 10-0-3. A shot from the right side is deflected wide, the shot by Green. And the Kings hold it in. Here's McNabb. McNabb back in the lineup tonight. Sekera's out. McNabb's shot, and it's deflected by the goaltender up out of play and off the netting.
And again, Braden McNabb in the lineup. Daryl Sutter said yesterday that he has trust in him. He said the reason McNabb went out of the lineup wasn't because of his play. It was because of the experience of Martinez coming back. Experience Sekera had as Sekera was playing well. Still uncertain about the time frame regarding Andre Sekera, but he was doing a great job for the Kings. He really settled his game down.
Puck is cleared up to the blue line and out to center ice, and the Oilers have it. Everly sends it across the line. Jim, I would imagine that you've been in games like this, and you sit on the bench, and you're very happy to have this big a lead, 8-1. But at the same time, you're still feeling a little bad for the opponents because they're going through this kind of thing, and you know that, some night you're going to be in that situation.
And it does happen. It does go through your mind. You're exactly right, Bob. At the same time,
here's Everly looking for an opportunity, drops it back, and a shot that knocked down, and Oilers still with him. We'll get back to Jim in just a second. Oilers with some pressure on here, and puck comes wide to the right, and the Kings have it. Here's Brown, who got it all started with a goal early in the first period.
I was going to say, Bob, at the same time, you don't want to back off. That's even more disrespectful. You don't want to start doing things that, going for goals and hanging out at the red line and doing it. That's even more disrespectful. So you just want, I've been on both sides of the coin in this situation, and if you're trailing, you don't want to be on the ice for that next goal against. You don't even look to score if you're going to give up some offense the other way. But again, if you have the big lead, yeah, you keep going, but it's more straight ahead. It's more fundamental hockey. Don't stray. Don't do anything fancy. Just get the job done.
Well, Clifford tried to get it out. He took a pretty good hit along the boards there as Keith Ollie came in for the Oilers and checked Clifford. Now the puck comes up to center ice and chased down by Nick Shore. 3:40 left to go in regulation. And the Kings with the 8-1 lead. Puck comes across the line, moved up ahead to center, and then taken by Clifford, and he throws it in deep. Kings against Colorado here on Saturday at 7. As I mentioned, the Kings 2-0 against the Avs so far this season. Kings live at 6:30 on Saturday. Game time is 7 o'clock, and then the Kings on the road. They'll go to Vancouver on Monday, into Edmonton on Tuesday, and Calgary on Thursday of next week, and then come back to wrap it up with an afternoon game on the 11th of April against San Jose here. Shot from the left side and a save made by Quick. Shot was by Gazdic, and Quick made the save, and now the Oilers drive it back behind the King net. So everything is done in the regular season a week from Saturday. And then, of course, the playoffs begin on the 15th. There's Gabrick, but offside call.
If I'm not mistaken, Bob, all 30 teams play on the last day of the season. And I think that's what's going to happen next Saturday. The LA Kings Mar Vista Roller Hockey Tournament will be held Memorial Day weekend at the Mar Vista Recreational Center. Registration is now open for adult teams and individual players. More information to sign up, lakings.com/Mar-Vista.
You are exactly right. 15 games on the 11th of April. Then everybody will be through at that point. And then on the 15th, Wednesday, the playoffs will begin. Some teams will play on Wednesday, some on Thursday. Back in the zone now, the Kings with it. 18,203 here tonight. So for the Los Angeles Kings, their 159th consecutive sellout. And these fans have been treated to an offensive explosion by the Kings tonight. Puck taken by the Kings in the Oilers zone. Pass comes out to center ice. Taken there by Muzzin. And now 2 minutes remain in this game. Don't forget, we'll have Kings Live coming up right after the 3-star selection tonight. We'll bring you up to date on all of the standings in the Pacific Division. Also in the wild card in the West. Kings are going to move into a point tie with Winnipeg here tonight in that wild card race. And the Kings have the tiebreaker against Winnipeg. Here now is Eberle in deep. He shoots and he scores. Nice shot by Eberle.
He had so much time there, Bob. So much time. He could stick handle once, stick handle twice, and put the goaltender Jonathan Quick into a guess situation. Not much to celebrate tonight for the Oilers, but a few people here do get the chance. And Eberle, we talked about him back in the open. He's nifty, he's tricky, and he can do it. Watch this. Gets it through. 1, 2. On the third one, he decides to go high. You see, he had Jonathan Quick leaning by that last stick handle with so much time right there, and right into the crook of the arm. Right where I like to shoot. Right between the elbow there, right in there. You get it up top, and the Oilers on the board once again. Eberle tries to just kind of save face here, getting the second goal for the Oilers.
Well, the Oilers, you can see, they've got 30 shots in the game here tonight, but only 2 goals. As Jordan Eberle gets his 23rd of the year. Now we're coming down to a minute left to go in this game as the puck comes down into the King zone. Cleared up the center. 1 minute left to go in the game. Now here is Nolan. Nolan down in the Oilers zone. Taylor Hall gets an assist. 18:30 the time of the goal. Hall with 1 assist on it. Kings break it up. McNabb got it to the blue line. Nolan, now the Oilers take it away. Pass by Purcell up the middle and a shot wide to the right side. And picked up there. Hall and Clefbaum get assists on that goal by Eberle at 18:30. Driven down back behind the King net. Jonathan Quick is going to get his 34th win of the year. Lifetime against the Oilers. He's going to be 14-1-5. Only 1 regulation loss. 14 seconds to go. Kings drive it in. Now the fans cheering for this Kings game here tonight. Getting 8 goals in the game. And picking up ground on everybody ahead of them in that playoff race. And that is the end of the game. The Kings with 33 shots. The Oilers with 30. The Kings with 8 goals. They win it 8-2.
We thought one of the keys was a physical start. The Kings had a great start to this game. They got to go into the first period. Sometimes you put the doubt into the opposition players because the Oilers have struggled all season long, and they go on from there. They never take the foot off the gas pedal. Pretty disciplined effort. The Oilers had a couple of shifts there in the second trying to turn it on. Could not get it going against the Kings.
So the Kings win it by a big score tonight here, 8-2 at Staples Center. And now for the 3 stars, and you have a lot of selections for that tonight. Let's go down to PA announcer Dave Joseph.
Fans, it's time to announce the Staples 3 stars of the game. Tonight's Staples 3rd star from your Kings with 2 goals, number 77, Jeff Carter. The Staples 2nd star from your Kings with 2 assists, number 11, Andrei Kopitar. And the Staples first star from your Kings with 2 goals and an assist, number 12, Marian Gaborik. Now, fans, please turn your attention to the Kings bench as Marian Gaborik joins Fox Sports West John Rosen. JR.
Thanks, Dave. Marian, 8 goals on 33 shots. This was an offensive outburst. What did you like about the way that this offense was able to go out and do its job?
Well, I think we started off very well. First period was key, and then we just finished with 60 minutes. So, I mean, we scored a lot of goals, so we can carry it over, hopefully.
Well, Vancouver lost. Calgary lost here tonight. I know you guys aren't thinking about that while you're in the middle of the game. How much confidence is there right now that it's going to come down to the wire and you guys will be able to do something against those 2 teams?
Well, they're having always confidence in our room that we can do it. So, I mean, we only can focus what we can do, and we can control what we can do. And I guess we got some help tonight, so we just have to focus on the next game.
That next game is a huge game Saturday here against the Colorado Avalanche. What do you take from this game, and is this game a good preparation for Saturday's game against the Avs?
Well, every game is huge from now on. We got, I guess, 2 more home games left, so hopefully we can get 4 points out of these games and get another support like this tonight.
Congrats on the win. We'll see you back there.
Thank you.
Patrick, back to you.
Okay, Rosie, thanks a lot. And then there were 5. Yeah, we're getting you set for our Kings Live post-game show. Tyler Toffoli is going to join us. This is Sean O'Donnell. That's a convincing win here tonight.
Yeah, they didn't take long. On the first shift, yeah. Dustin Brown comes out and gets the Kings a 1-0 lead, and then it just it built. And then you almost started feeling bad for the goalie there, Buns, coming in there. He makes a nice save on Carter. He taps it out. Just nothing going right for the Oilers tonight.
Didn't feel bad for him. Just because the Kings...
A
little bit. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings. All right, so the Kings back in the playoffs. They leap ahead of Winnipeg because they own the tiebreaker, the regulation overtime victories. Just 1 point back at Calgary now with a game in hand.
And that's the big one to look at. The game in hand, Calgary lost tonight in St. Louis, or 1 point back. So they play them next week, so they get a couple wins leading that. It'd be nice to see them. There's still a chance of opening on home ice against Vancouver, but more likely probably that 3rd spot. But that would certainly be nice to get that 3rd spot in the Pacific rather than have to face one of the division leaders in the first round.
So whoever tweeted me after the Kings lost to Chicago that they had given up hope, feel free, tweet me back. Welcome back. Kings got a long way to go, and we're going to talk about it all next. Kings Live. Again, Tyler Toffoli will join us live. Stay there.